Alright guys, welcome to another video. In this one I'll just be talking about what is in my camera bag for 2020. It's been a long process to get where I am today. I've been through many different cameras and I hope that this video will help somebody in choosing the right gear, because it comes down to it doesn't really matter what it is you use. The most important thing is just to get out and go shoot. Any camera these days can help make amazing photos, but the key factor is the individual. Obviously, you know, somebody's going to enjoy using one camera better than the other, but in terms of like specifications, it really doesn't matter. Now, in terms of enjoyment, after trying out many different cameras, I've settled on the Canon EOS R for many different reasons, and I'm not really going to get into those because, like I said, it doesn't really matter. But that's the camera that I'm using, and it's recording this video right now, and I'm using the 15 to 35 2.8 lens as well. So those are my main choice for making photos and making video. I love that ultra wide focal length, so this is probably my absolute favorite lens, and it's relatively new, and I will be doing a video about this next week, so look out for that. It'll be a long-term review because I've had this for about a couple of months now and how it performs for video and for photos. So I'm excited to release that one, so look out for that. But those are what I use for my main photos and video. Now I do have a backup camera in case something happens to my R, and that is the Canon RP. So I wanted to keep in the same ecosystem, you know, the same lenses and everything, and the same kind of color science or whatever you want to call it. I didn't want to have to like worry about crop sensor and different lenses and adapters, so I've settled with the RP for 2020, and I do have the EF24 Sigma 24 f1.4 on here. So this is kind of my more cinematic kind of lens. I wanted something with a bit more shallow depth of field than just 2.8. So I'm excited to use this. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, but be able to put it to the test very soon. My other choice of lens is the 70 to 300. So being able to have a telephoto lens is great to add extra compression to your photographs. So I don't really like that mid-range zoom, the 24 to 70. A lot of people do, and it really works for them. But for me, it just doesn't really work with my style and how I make photos. So I like to stick to ultra wide and to telephoto. So that's in terms of my camera equipment. My drone of choice is currently the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. So I have the Autel Evo that I started out with, but I wanted to have more flexibility with being able to crop in on the photographs, and the Evo was only 12 megapixel. So it was a hard choice to make, but I picked up the Mavic 2 Pro because it's a 20 megapixel sensor. So, you know, I can crop a lot more and I can print a lot more, and the photos were just a bit more crisp. So that's what I have now. However, Autel have just announced the Evo Mark II, 48 megapixels, absolutely incredible. So I'll probably be switching to that when that comes out, and that's going to be a day one purchase for me. So when I get my hands on one of those, I'll definitely be doing a initial review video. So keep an eye out for that as well. And then the rest is just kind of bits and bobs that I pack with me when I go on trips. So I take a couple of ND filters. I stick with K&F Concept because I just find that as a brand, the quality of the glass is really good. You get really little color cast and little or no vignetting when using the variable filters as well. So I have a variable ND that I'll use on this 15 to 35 when I'm doing videos outside in the daytime. And then I have this 10 stop square filter and a gradual square filter as well. So if I'm doing like sunrise photos, I'll combine these two square filters with this bracket that goes on my lens, so they just slot in. Really nice, really handy, and allows me a lot more flexibility with how I want to manage that light coming into the sensor. So what next I pack with me is my iPad Pro. So I've done a video about this before. I like to edit on this because of the pencil, and that tactile function is really nice. Allows me to kind of really get more precise local adjustments. So that will come with me too. And then my tripod. So I have the Geekoto Traveler tripod right now, which is what's on my camera. Great tripod, nothing bad to say about it. It's super sturdy. The only thing I wish I did was get the longer version. So I'm 6'2" and fully extended, it gets to about chest height. So I'll probably get the longer version later, but not until it breaks, because like I said, that's the only real issue I have with it, and that was just kind of user error on my part. The other tripod I have is the Joby GorillaPod. This is the medium one or something like that, so it can hold like a reasonably sized mirrorless camera and lens. Super sturdy. I used this in Zion to wrap around the bridge because it was really icy, and using a normal tripod was kind of a bit sketchy with the holes in the bridge. So I wrapped this around. Here's a photo of it wrapped around, and it was super sturdy and held up really well. So super thrilled about this. Highly recommend it, and I will be putting links to all these pieces of equipment down below. They do help the channel out, so if you are thinking about purchasing one of these things, then please feel free to use those. They're greatly appreciated. So I have a Jackery phone charger, so I like to keep my phone charged up. If I'm out, you know, on a long trail, then I'll always have that with me if I need to use my phone for an emergency or something. And then where's the next thing? Is this right here. This is a black diamond headlamp, really bright. It's got two options for it's got like a wide angle beam and a more focused beam. And then it also has an RGB light as well, which is kind of nifty when out taking night photos. So that always comes in my bag as well. And then the final thing, this does not come in my bag, this stays in my car. But this is the Jackery portable power station. So if I'm off the grid for a good few days, because I tend to just camp in the back of my 4Runner, then I always have this, I always have this with me. It's got two USB ports and a USB-C port, and it's got like a standard household outlet. So I can get about 2 laptop charges out of this, maybe 4 iPad charges, but the main thing I use it for is to keep my camera batteries nice and charged up. So like I said, if I'm off the grid for a good few days, then this can just keep my cameras running, and I haven't really had any issues with the power. There is a car charger. If I wanted to top this up, I can plug it into the cigarette lighter in my car, so I can essentially stay powered up for as long as I want, really. So definitely recommend that if you're off the grid for a long time. And then that's about it. Don't think I missed anything. I sometimes take my laptop with me if I wanted to do some longer, more in-depth edits, and if I'm away for longer, but my iPad generally does the job for about up to a week. But if I'm away for longer than a week, then I will bring my MacBook Pro with me, because it allows me to do video if I wanted to, or really get in depth with Photoshop, which the iPad Pro can't quite do just yet. And then I'll just bring extra memory cards, and I have like a little pouch, like a little first aid kit as well. So that comes with me too. You've always got to be prepared, you know, for emergencies and things like that. So there we have it. If you have any questions about any of these items that I use, please feel free to message me below or message me on Instagram at JohnnyHill_UK. Heading to Moab this week. I'm super excited. This will all be coming with me. Pumped to get some photos and to show you some of these photos that I have planned. I hope this video has inspired somebody and helped somebody out with equipment choices. Just bear in mind, like I said at the beginning, the main thing is just get out and make photos. Just get out, just use what's around you. Just enjoy what we have around us, and that's what's important about photography. It doesn't matter what you have, what equipment you have. Just get out and go shoot. And until then, I'll see you later.
Hip hop is a way of life, a way of thinking.